where her accomplishments stop. She is an amazing example of hard work and perseverance as she completed PA school while being a mom and a businesswoman. In September of 2021, she was the epitome of representation matters as she was crowned International Mrs. USA. She does it all, y'all. Please welcome my mentor and PA role model, Dr. Jacqueline Edwards, DMSc, PAC.
Oh, ladies, that was so cute. So, y'all, I am super, super honored and am glad that y'all asked me to participate in today's discussion. And I just want to give a disclaimer. I am like a straight no chaser type PA. And I was glad to catch part of Dr. Miles, so then I didn't feel a certain way, because I was like, listen, I know people be coming with the data, the statistics, and they're gonna have all these nice little pretty charts, but I'm just here to keep it real with y'all, because at the end of the day, matters of social justice and matters of race, you're dealing with real life people, and we don't need to see, like Dr. Miles said, we don't need to see another study, we don't need to see some more numbers. That is there. I know. I mean, like, I can tell y'all, like, I have not experienced any racism or any misogynist type of views and expectations, or, what I want to call it, like almost the effects of poverty. Like, I have not been removed from any of that just because I am a PA. So I did put together a little presentation. That's more so because I'm tangential and I like to go off on, I'll be talking about this and talking about that. And this is just going to kind of guide me and keep me going in the right direction. There, of course, will be time for an opportunity for questions, but let me see if I can pull this up, y'all, because I know I look young, but I'm kind of like y'all auntie, and I'll be having technological issues sometimes. So let's see here. Bam, y'all, look, God will do it. Let's see so I have like this new obsession with Canva too. So I never put anything like on PowerPoint. Everything I create is in Canva. Let me see if I can get it. Present. Oh, I see. Hold on. Bam. There we go. So I wanted to take on the digital accountability, because we are in a digital time, this new generation, which I actively participate in. We have social media, we have the internet, and a lot of the racial or social injustice issues that may come up, or when you're talking about diversity and inclusion that come up, some of us only get to see it on social media, especially if you're in PA school and you study and you don't got time to be like actually watching the real news. So this is what we're gonna go with. So I first have to let y'all know I'm speaking on behalf of myself. I am not sharing opinions that are representative of any professional organization, previous or current employer, because listen, your girl still needs to get paid because still got bills and student loans. So, and nobody's paying me to do this. So like Liz introduced, just a little bit about me. For all of you who have not ever seen me, heard of me, or just don't know who I am Dr. Jackie Edwards. I have been working in healthcare for over 20 years. So ever since I was 18 and I graduated high school, I have worked in healthcare. I started out as a nursing assistant. I became a registered nurse. And then for the past 10 and a half years, I've been working as a PA. And I graduated nursing school from Carnegie University in Milwaukee. I graduated PA school from Marquette University in 2011 in Milwaukee. And then this summer, I just graduated my doctorate in medical science degree from A.T. Still University out in Hutto, Arizona. I do live in Wisconsin. I am part of the less than 1% of Black PAs in the entire state of Wisconsin. That is some data that I've actually pulled up. I think if you look on either the NCCPA or the AAPA, whoever put the numbers out, those are the numbers here. And just interesting fact, from Marquette University, I was Black person number 5. And the reason I know I was Black person number 5 is because we always had these class photos, and I was in the 10th class and I could count where I was. I have worked in a variety of specialties, and I think it's important to note, people just don't assume that first of all, I'm the PA, that I'm going to be the one making a lot of these decisions, or that I work in certain specialties. So I started out in neurosurgery. That was my very, very first job as a PA. I have worked in the emergency department, urology, which is very interesting, urgent care, and for the past few years, I have been in occupational medicine. Oh, and then, there's me, my doctorate degree. If you've never been on visit JackiePA.com, just a slight plug there, PA merch and apparel. And then I was crowned International Mrs. USA this summer. So I wanted to be more of a conversation, but I wanted to have a flow. So I have a couple of cases that I wanted to bring up. I wanted to talk about microaggressions, how we responded to social media posts. What are your responsibilities, and just get into more why it's important to think about what you're posting before you're posting. Just a cute quote: "It's not our differences that divide us, it's our inability to recognize, accept, and celebrate those differences." And recognize, I think, is key, because a lot of the times people think that they are exempt from some of these responsibilities, and that's because they don't even recognize it's an issue for an entire different group. And I like to include this state of being diverse, because a lot of times when we're talking about racial and social justice, people kind of only focus on the racial component of it, which is a very big part. But we're talking about people who are from different social and ethnic backgrounds, different gender, sexual orientation, because if you are part of a marginalized group, you are considered diverse, and you can definitely be on the front end of some of the issues that have come up, especially in the past couple of years. And being a PA student does not make you exempt from any of that. So I have to move something on my screen, y'all, so forgive me. I hope I don't close something. It's just I can't see. Oh, dang nabbit. I can't move this box. Oh, there we go. All right, told y'all I'm the auntie. So this first case, because when you're in PA school, they always give you cases, and we like cases because it makes us feel like we learned something. But in this past summer, some of you may have been aware, some of you may not. It depends on how much you've been on social media. And I'm doing my best to protect the identity of this person, because the point is, I'm not trying to give that person any but that's not the focus. That part of it is the focus, but it's the action conducted by this person. And I want to talk about how this particular case was an issue. So this past summer, it's a white passing, practicing PA made a social media post. It is important to include that they were white passing, because had anybody else just took a look at this particular person, they would not assume that they identify with any ethnic minority group. But that does not make you exempt from the things that you're going to be doing in social media. And this is safe to say this person could identify as a healthcare influencer, meaning they had a whole bunch of followers. They were always posting, making reels, TikToks, everything. So they had a lot of followers. And when you have a lot of followers, you're considered an influencer, and you just never quite know the message that you're sending and to whom you're sending this message. So, and sure, I'm trying my best to describe it. Basically, this person made, I can't remember if it was a reel or a TikTok, y'all, because the account is now gone. But for me, I believe that reels and TikToks take a lot more time to make, because it's not like taking a poster, posting a picture, posting it, and then it's done. Usually with a reel or a TikTok, you gotta put all this stuff together, put the words, hit your time in. And so if you created something, you had to put some time and some thought into it. So this particular post was like a dance and video post, and talking about my patients call me with, my patients have STD results, need medication refills, have high blood pressure. It's talking about sensitive medical conditions, and it was not a HIPAA violation, so it did not include identifying patients, but it was just talking about and I can't get this information to them because their phones turned off, or they were no call, no show, and it was making a joke of it, and it was really in poor taste. So the video gets posted, it's going around, people are they're basically pissed, because I know I was pissed when I saw it. Can I say that on this list? What's up here, Tessie? But they put this out there, and it was offensive to underserved communities, minority health, minorities that work in healthcare, people who came from underserved communities. I was offended because I was like, dang, this could have been me. That, you know, I grew up and we didn't have our house phone on all the time. This is before cell phones, y'all. But there may be a reason why somebody didn't have their phone on, or there may be a reason why somebody did not come in for their appointment. It wasn't because they didn't want to. Now, this person worked in an underserved community, and I believe they were a recipient of like that NHAC scholarship. So this is why this was in a horrible move on this person. So this PA ends up giving an apology, and it was the most insincere apology. It was more like, well, since y'all saying something, I'm going to bring it up. But I could never, like, I mean the best for my patients, because I identify with this other minority group, and it's not that I care about my patients. So people are reporting, and you always remember, when you put it out there into the digital universe, it is out there. It's not as simple as I deleted, because there were screenshots, people were sharing it. I mean, I made a video. I was on vacation. I was like, let me tell you what was wrong with this video. And what ended up happening was this person deleted their page. Word on the street was they got let go from their job. I can neither confirm nor deny. That wasn't none of my business. But the issue, there are quite a few points why this is problematic. Oh, let's see if I can get that. So what was wrong here? First of all, the content was made and posted. There were many moments to pause and ask, was this even necessary to post? And with the newer generation, y'all gotta be careful out here, because people love doing things for clout. People do anything for likes out here and followers. And it's for what? Like, you can post something and ruin your career or ruin your brand for an extended period of time. The information was insensitive and inaccurate. So not only was it offensive to the population that was served, but it was offensive to other people who could identify with that population, people who saw this particular person and was like, hey, that I looked up to you, so I'm offended that you even thought this was cool to produce into a dang reel or TikTok. I wish I could remember what it was. There was a lack of remorse, because this person did not feel like they did anything that was really wrong. Like, I don't think they really connected with the problem in that video. And it was highly unprofessional. And don't get me wrong, if you go down my Instagram, I mean, I think I even recently posted a couple videos, but I definitely include a disclaimer. It is a generalization. It's not for marginalized groups, it's for across the board. Because I don't know if y'all been dealing with rude patients as students, but anybody practicing right now in the past couple of years, people have lost their minds. But it's still, you have to always consider like certain factors, okay? So they forgot everybody they represented when they posted this video. And I know for me, I remember when I made my video, I was mad. Like, I was super mad because I followed this person. So I immediately unfollowed, because I like unfollow things that do not serve me, or are not, that aren't in line with what I believe. But my issue was that, wow, you made this video in poor taste just to get likes. You thought it was funny. You thought it was cute. You edited it. You added some color onto it. And it was talking about people in their situation. Like, we forget that, why could you not get in contact with this person? Maybe they had to, work a double shift, and they couldn't come into work. They couldn't come into their appointment, because them missing 4 hours of work to, make it to an appointment is a significant chunk of their income. Or maybe their phone is off because, of all the bills that they need to pay. That one's not a priority. Or maybe they have other medical conditions, and they're trying to decide which ones they're going to pay attention to. It was just a horrible video, y'all. And I go into more stuff about it, because I'll be having lots of thoughts of what we be doing on social media and what can we do. So, like, let's talk about these Black squares for solidarity, y'all. So there are some people that are considered influencers that I have stopped following in my same profession, because I feel like it's not my job to like educate on a deeper degree. When we are in 2021, everything online is available to people. But y'all remember when we had those black squares on Instagram now? And everybody and their mom and their cousin, everybody, black, white, orange, in between, they decided we're gonna put up this black square. These are the same people who may have been quiet on the issues at hand, but they decided we're gonna do a black square because I don't want to lose my black followers. I don't want to use my followers that are allies to the black community. And I want to show that I also am for the movement. So I'm gonna tell you, this is what I saw. I just saw people who weren't, black or part of the minority group or didn't feel compelled. They just decided, you know what, I need to keep my aesthetic intact. So we're not going to ever talk about any of these systemic and systematic issues that are going on and that are also trickling into our communities, because a lot of those influencers are the same people charging PA students hundreds of dollars to do edits or don't get me started. Let me digress. But what we didn't see was true allyship, consistency, and action. It just opened up like this little box where people could say like, hey, I stood up, I put this, you saw my post? I had my black square. And that was all you saw because, we didn't want to mess up the color flow. We didn't want to mess up, people felt like they were blurring lines. And kind of like Dr. Miles said, ain't no in between, y'all. If you're going to be an ally or you're going to speak up and speak out, you need to do it all the way. Don't half do it, because we see that. And I know for me personally and professionally, I put a little bit of distance in because you're showing me where your priorities lie. So yeah, when we're on social media and I'm gonna kind of back up. Let me see if I can do this on my, I'll just pause that. But like when we're on social media, we have to always remember that social issues, social injustice, racial issues, racial injustice, if you think that they don't impact you, they do. And if you think that they're not an issue and that another group is just being highly sensitive, you probably, in my opinion, should not be working in healthcare, because how are you going to appropriately take care of those people that are experiencing it? Like a patient comes in and complains of like, okay, I'm having increased stomach aches or increased headaches, when it's really stress from the anxiety and post-traumatic trauma of dealing with their everyday work life, or maybe somebody got pulled over by the police and it just was not what they, it wasn't a simple pull over. It's just, I feel like there's such this overlap in this responsibility that we have when we're on social media. Like, first of all, stop doing everything for likes, y'all. Everything it's not that serious. I've literally had people who were like new PAs reach out to me like, how can I grow my following? I'm gonna go into that. I'm gonna tell you how y'all can grow your following. It's not by doing stuff that's just in poor taste. Let's talk about microaggressions, because sometimes people be thinking like, if you are racist, right, you had to have on a Ku Klux Klan mask and stuff. That's the kind of racism, or it's this loud, blatant. But I'm like, there's some stuff they're just microaggressions. And they can vary from like everyday rudeness to slanderous acts that you communicate to members of minority groups. And basically you're just degrading this group of people. And they can seem harmless, but they can inflict feelings of shame and degradation on whoever is taking it on. And I think I put my slides out of order, y'all. We're gonna see. Oh yeah, I did. Let me tell you, I made this PowerPoint while I was at work, and sometimes y'all forgive me. But so we have micro assaults, we have micro insults, and micro invalidations. I guess the best way I have it in quotes how we can define those. So discriminatory verbal abuse, insensitive and disparaging comments. And the last one I like to call gaslighting. I know they put that in there, but that's just basically like, that's not what's going on. I'm gonna have to go back to the other screen. So some examples that people may not even notice that can be taken the wrong, I can't say it's not taken the wrong way. You may be saying it and not even think about how this comes out, or you may make a post and you thought this meme was funny, but it was just like, you get tied to every single thing you post. So you speak English very well. to somebody who is not from this country, or like maybe a first generation, or you just assume they couldn't speak English because of how they look. Like, I'm just going to assume you speak Spanish when you like that's considered a microaggression. Is disrespectful. Asking a PA student, a doctor, are you the nurse? Or being on a phone or something and like, oh yeah, the nurse is in here, especially after I just told you who I was. That's also considered a microaggression, because what you're saying is, I shouldn't be in this position. I only can be the nurse. Okay. Well, your people must be so proud of you. And I want to tell y'all that, like, since I've been a nurse through being a PA, I've gotten that one all the time. Like, oh my gosh, like, where did you go to school? Did you go to this area technical college? And then, I'm like in conversation, no, I went to Marquette. Oh, your parents must be so proud of you. And I know they don't say that to everybody else, because I have never heard anybody else tell me that. And some of the assumptions that you state out loud, like when you say them people, or they always, when you do that, that can be viewed negatively. Saying all lives matter in response to somebody saying Black Lives Matter, using someone's incorrect pronouns, especially when they told you, or is written and available for you to see, like you consistently do that. That's just basically saying, that's exhibiting a superiority complex and making it seem like this group is less than. So that's where you really got to check your biases, because we forget that if these things are in us, they come out. We all have biases, but they can come out. Hold on, let me see if I can back up. Oh, I did. Okay, y'all. So I think it's just important also to talk about cancel culture, but anytime we're talking about social media and digital media, digital responsibility, when it comes to this, like, people define cancel culture differently, but it's just like this mass canceling or expressing disapproval and exerting like social pressure. And when you put stuff out there, am I a believer in cancel culture? I'm a believer in consequences for your actions, and however that may come up. So it's kind of like how, karma doesn't always come back to you, how you delivered it. That's the same way. If you put something out on social media and it is harmful to or disparaging a particular group, I mean, if you get the pressure from everybody on social media and you feel like you've been canceled, you have to like take a step back and analyze, what did you do wrong to contribute to that? And in very small instances, may it not be necessary or warranted, but who are we to say how everybody else is going to respond? Which is why you need to be responsible with what you're putting out there. Like, I'm big on speaking your truth, saying what, speaking up for what matters for you, defending people who cannot defend themselves, advocacy. I'm big on that. And I think you should be able to do that. Now, there's going to be people who are going to be offended, but they're just like, they don't have any social responsibility. So that's acting in a manner that benefits society. And I believe as healthcare practitioners, as people, as good humans, we have a social responsibility to put out information that is true, accurate, and not disparaging marginalized groups. Okay, let's see where we're at now. Okay, your role digitally, because then some people may be like, well, what am I supposed to do? I think we have to be, first of all, our job is to educate, inform, teach about whatever fuels you. So I don't care if you are teaching about cooking. Everybody does not have to be a PA influencer, nurse influencer. Like, that's not what everybody's called to do. You want to educate and inform. And when it comes to matters of social and racial justice, I believe that we have to put out information and let people know, like, especially if you're dealing with something, I like to let people know, like, listen, this person called me this, and this is what I did, these are steps I took, and this is why this is wrong. Entertain. I'm all for the funny memes, dance, and skits, but you have to be careful that what you're putting out there is not bad for you as a person, as a brand, and for your profession, and as a human. Just are you being a good human? It's an excellent way to connect. And so you want to treat this as your first impression. So imagine you're an influencer, like the person I talked about before. And the very first time somebody, they're very interested in the career, and they look at you and they come to you and they see your page, and all of a sudden you just talk about they cousins situation or their own personal situation. That is turning people away from the profession, in my opinion, or just not. It's creating this scenario where we're not trusting. And then digitally, you need to, it has to be respectful. Not everybody's not going to do that. And we can't be responsible for how everybody else responds. So we definitely can be responsible for how we respond. Let's see. Oh, Lord, just ignore that. That tells you, just ignore that one. But you want to be respectful. Ignore that the last words there. And then how to like handle offensive posts, because I think like in the past couple of years, especially, not only were we dealing with the pandemic, we're dealing with, racial and social injustice, like people just acting all out of character, doing whatever they want to do. So there's a little test. It's the am I tripping test. Like if I see a post and it offends me, like somebody's like all lives matter and I need to go, and they go into this whole thing, I'm gonna read it and I'm like, am I offended and why? Okay, I'm offended. And I say that because sometimes you are tripping. So it's nice to like run it past somebody else. Like you may be tripping a little bit, but usually in those instances you aren't. And then depending on your connection with that person, you want to inform the poster of the offense. Now, this particular case, people were in the comments eating this person up. Like they were just like, you try to tell them nice, but then you could tell as it went in, that's not what happened. But if it's somebody that is just like somebody I'm not really connected to, like I only know you on social media, you're a big influencer, I may comment directly under the post. Depending on the level that I care, this is not what, because this is probably the better way, send them a message like, hey, I follow you, I saw this is disappointing. This is where you were wrong. This is how I was offended. And if I know if I'm offended, somebody else was offended. And then depending on how that person responds, I can say in this case, that person was quite defensive and gave this insincere apology. I unfollow people. I have no problem unfollowing people. We ain't real friends in real life, and you clearly don't align with where I am, like foundationally as a person, morally as a person, and you just don't care to change this. And I'm pretty sure you can block people. I'm big on unfollowing and block, okay? And then I think the best way is to do a general education and inform why it's offensive. Like, so say we're using that scenario, and what did I do? So I ended up unfollowing the person because I think I was just at a highly emotional point in the moment when I saw it. So many people were telling this person what they did wrong. They clearly weren't getting it. So I didn't think that I needed to waste my energy and breath to tell them what they, as an adult, should know that was incorrect. But I did post a public thing on my page, and I don't think it may be there. I don't know. But generally informing and educating like everybody who may be following me as to why this action was wrong. And I know you may hear back and forth as to like, man, I shouldn't have to explain, racism to my peers. And I agree with that. I'm not going to go back and forth with anybody. I'm not going to debate if something was racist or something was sexist or something was just, classist or offensive. I'm not going to go back and forth, not with an individual person. And I don't feel that I am entitled to spend my time educating that particular person. We just have way too much information that is available to us right now. But that's kind of how my little cycle of handling offensive posts. And that's what I would recommend people do. No, you do what you're gonna do, but I think that kind of covers it all. But it's big to think before you post. What do you want to post and why you want to post it? And I know a lot of this ends up being mindless if you spend too much time on social media. You just be posting everything. But like, who are you trying to reach? And then ask yourself, can it be seen offensive? It may be funny as heck to you. It may be funny to your friends, but could it be seen as offensive? And does this represent my brand in the best light? And you are your own brand. You don't even have to have a business to have. You are your brand. If somebody sees you, this is what they know you represent. Your profession, your family, and employer. We have to remember that all that stuff can be traced back to people who may not even had nothing to do with the post. Is my post marginalizing a group of people? Is it kind? Oh God, yeah, we need so much more kindness and things. And is this post playing into my biases? Yeah. Let's see. Oh, yeah, look, I meant to put a question one up on there. But, oh yeah, correction culture. I'm like going through the comments now on here, but oh, let's see here. Can we, oh, how do I stop my share? Okay, stop sharing my screen. This is just how to connect with me if you did not know. All right, let's see here. But yeah, overall, I think that we have to remember that we're grown. Can't nobody force us to be doing what we're supposed to be doing. And most of the time, it's not going to be us. But it's like, how do we call out our friend? First of all, that person probably ain't really your friend if they're not willing to even listen and talk about the issue at hand. Because I mean, I can literally think of an entire, I had a friend since middle school who just did not see it. And now that if you just cannot see it after every single thing that has been visualized, or you think like things aren't a matter of black or white, or things aren't, it's not injustice if people just comply. We can't have these. I'm not having these arguments with anybody. If you have the energy to do it, go right ahead. It's correction culture. I had forgot I had said that, y'all. It's correction culture because this particular person also, another PA was like, we should be on one accord and helping this person. But it's like there comes a time where we have to wake up and be like, oh dang, we live in a different time. And it's not a matter of being sensitive. I want people to know that, like, it is truly traumatizing. Or like, I even think of issues of like not knowing when to speak up or how to speak up. I was part of the HOD, and I remember being in one of those meeting calls, and people wanted your colleagues, all your colleagues are just not there. I just want to let y'all know that. So you're going to be walking into a profession where you're already the minority, and people cannot really see these issues that could be impacting their coworkers. I know, like, I had made a whole post in AAPA huddle about, listen, your minority colleagues are not okay. So this is not cool. And here's a list of things. I think I had made a list of books because, listen, when I be under fire, y'all about to catch every single thing. If I'm like there, I'm like, nope, y'all about to get this, because I'm not a keyboard thug. I'm about to, and I will tell it to you. Let me see here. I'm going to go through the chats here. And if y'all have questions, oh yeah, have questions. I think another thing that I wanted to touch on was how Dr. Miles said, y'all are leading the way. I like how y'all got PAS leads. Y'all really are leading the way, though, because it's through, we force the change. We enact the change. We are empowered and equipped, because there are some old practices that are just in place, and people are resistant to change because they have connected with a time where they didn't have to acknowledge us. They didn't have to respect us. And we as a team, because it's teamwork, we're the ones that are going to force people to do it. Like, I keep thinking about how big organizations put out statements. We were the ones that got it, like, your statement is not direct enough. We need to just call it like it is. We are against police brutality against Black people. Don't be sitting here trying to sugarcoat it and make it sound cute for the people who are uncomfortable. We have to always remember that anytime that you have felt that uncomfortable in speaking up and speaking out, just to be on the same level. You're already in the same level, and in many instances, but we're already on the same level. But anytime that you have to speak out and you feel like afraid, think of how uncomfortable you have been all the times you walked on eggshells, and you shouldn't have to. And you go with that same force. Forget everybody else being uncomfortable. I'm at the phase now where you uncomfortable, I've been uncomfortable. You don't like talking about racism, I don't like experiencing racism. You don't like assumptions. You didn't try to express this microaggression, but I'm just probably the only person that said something to you about it. I'm sure you said it plenty of times, or you thought things. And we have so much more power than what people think. So I encourage y'all to keep on fighting the hard fight, y'all, because it ain't easy. And I can't say it's ever going to be easy, but I think one day we just gonna wake up and be like, dang, look at, y'all remember how I did that? You remember when I said that? Let's see here. If y'all have questions, y'all can definitely ask questions. I'm gonna read through the comments or the chat. I'm sorry, is that how you said it?
Go ahead, Tiffany had a question.
Go ahead, Tiffany.
Hey, okay, it's mine because I think, so my question is, how do you think the PA Instagram influencer culture is impacting our ability to diversify the profession when pre-PAs go on there, because they're getting all their I'm not saying they're getting all, that's a little bit much, right? But a lot of information they are searching is coming through social media in the younger generations, and they're seeing that. And is the answer really getting more influencers of color when the culture in the influencer culture is monetized to basically, I don't know how the PC says, but get people into PA programs just by buying and paying this and say, how, like, yeah.
So I'm gonna be completely honest. So I used to feel some sort of way, and I probably do subconsciously a little bit still. I never got in, like, I like social media. I feel like I'm a people watcher in general, so I just like to do it for that for that effect. And I'll post my stuff, but I'll be doing a lot of people watching. And to be completely honest, I feel that the people who are currently considered PA influencers are not PAs of color for the most part. They're very underrepresented. But then that small demographic of PA influencers that does exist, I feel that they know what they can't fight. No, they are charging pre-PAs. It like they keep it keeps a funnel of the same, if that makes sense. So they just keep bringing in more people who look like them and have the same resources they have, and we forget there's an entire group of people who could benefit if they just had the connect. So that's kind of why I do what I do, is because, man, had I pursued being a PA at this time, I would be like, dang, you want to charge me $200 to do what? Like, does that get me into PA school? Because $200 goes a long way. You know how many schools, 3 schools you could be applying to, or at least 1 application. Like, so what are you actually giving me? $699 for you to read my personal statement, and you cannot even connect with me personally. You don't really understand my struggles. Like, you've never been poor. You've never had, only 1 bathroom. And I know that those are first world problems, but these are real issues. So I think it kind of discourages up and coming people of color who really have the genuine care and the character to be an excellent provider and change their communities and change people's lives. It discourages them because they be like, dang, I don't have that. Or it feeds into the negative voice we already hear when we're applying, or confirms our imposter syndrome. Like, it blows it up more because we're like, dang, well, if I have to have doctor money, because my daddy ain't a doctor, my mom ain't a doctor, does that mean I'm not going to get in? So I think like some of the things that we can do in that instance is make sure that we are highlighting and just simple sharing, hey, did you know that this PA existed? And so that somebody else can reach out to that person, because everybody doesn't have the resources. And I'm big in, like, you're supposed to give back, like lead the way. So like, I can't help nobody if I'm like, well, I only can help you if you pay me $9.99, and then that's not even really helping. And I'm actually I just, don't get me started. That's a whole different talk. Like, we need to hold them accountable, because they get money for posting stuff or collaborating with brands and all that jazz, but are they really helping the community and helping your mission? So like, if you know somebody, like, for example, the PAC, when people are looking for a community just to be talking and just get information, I try and get people to, like, I point them in that direction, because there's a lot of there's a lot of PAs of color that I didn't even know exist until I, got on with that group. So let's see here. Supplemental, oh yeah, application is this money, it's a money grab. And it kind of like how Dr. Miles was talking about some of those classes, and then you get the PA cat, like, why are we doing all this? We just need, in my opinion, we should just be doing a whole character test, meaning like, let me talk to you, go talk to my grandma, because you know what? They can read people. And I want to know, like, do you really care about people, or are you just doing this for the money? How can we make the admissions progress more equitable? Where do we begin with CASPA? Oh, yes. So the merchandise that I do sell, I use some of the money to help cover initial CASPA fees. And people don't realize that, man, $179, that times 2 or times 3, because I think there's a study that says like you need to apply to at least 7 PA schools for it to like kind of work for you. When you do that, I think like we need to create something more than, because I hate, you either have to be really poor or really rich, and the middle class gets left out. And why can't we just have like this fund of money that people from marginalized and minority groups can access to even apply, especially if they have the minimum requirements to be applying to schools. It shouldn't be like just needs-based, and then I want you to wait about 2 weeks before I let you know if you got that money to get there. So I am a firm believer in helping people on the front end, because a lot of them don't even get in, or it's discouraging because it costs money. It costs money. And when we think like $179 ain't a lot of money, for some people that's a lot. That's cover phone bill, internet that you need to be doing what you're supposed to be doing. Yeah, so we definitely need some CASPA money. Let's see. You want to be a part of other ones who waive the fee. Oh yeah, ask them to waive fees. You know what? God says you have not because you ask not. So I'm big on that one too. You better ask questions. Like when people turn in their CASPA applications and they be like, can I ask? I'm like, if you don't ask the school if they got the information they needed, and if you don't ask the school, how can I be a stronger candidate? Yes, okay. Yes, oh yeah, travel fees. Okay, all right. Any other questions? That was a good one, Tiffany, because you had me going all down the other rabbit holes as to like, listen, y'all can promote those people, but and that's cool and all, but ask yourself, does it align with the mission? Is there somebody else who could better benefit from that connection? I'm not saying you cannot be connected with those particular PA influencers. It's just, direct the business somewhere else where you're gonna get more bang for your money. And by bang for your money, I mean like, connect them with somebody who offers the services for free. And they may not be able to help everyone. I think that's the other thing too, because there's a lot of people I be wanting to help, and I cannot help everybody by myself because it's just me right now in life. But like, connecting with those people who offer free mentoring. I can think of 3 people off the top of my head that offer free mentoring. They may not take on everybody, but they're people from marginalized groups. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, PA schools. Yeah, this money. Oof. I feel like I don't know if I could afford it. I was a nurse, so I had some little nursing money. But man, now I understand why when I went to my interviews, people were freaking out like they didn't get in, because it's like I spent all this money to apply and show up for these interviews, and I was just like, oh, I'll just go back to work. But yes. This information isn't also sense. Oh yeah, well, you know what? You gotta dig. And we gotta not also we can't have any shame. Listen, if the help is out there and they say, if they tell me there's a Black scholarship, pay off my student loans, I'm gonna apply for the Black scholarship with no shame because I want them student loans gone. That's me personally. All right. Any other questions? Y'all have social responsibility. Y'all entering into a profession, and y'all motivate me so much. Y'all make me want to get like a little bit more energy to, but I need to come because I can't add another thing onto the list. Yeah. But I think this is such a great a great platform. You have a great mission to push through, and y'all got some pretty cool leaders, working with y'all as part of y'all team. So I love to see it.
Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Jackie. We really appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. This is water, y'all. It's water.
All right, so thank y'all so much. We're gonna take a 5-minute break, and then Cabrile is gonna do our closeout.